If you're looking to dive into the world of content creation, maybe you're looking for a new way to express yourself, whether that's through photo and or video content, and you're not exactly sure where to start, especially with the technical stuff like cameras, well, this video was made for you. What's up, y'all? Daniel here. Today we're going to be talking about the top 3 choices for cameras that you can use to get started in creation of both photo and video content. This video is aimed at the beginner creator who's looking to just get started, or if you're looking to upgrade your current setup, well, this video might also be of help for you too. This video is not describing the newest, the best, the most spec'd out, the most expensive camera on the market. That's a whole nother video. We could do that another day. A major assumption that was made for the creation of this video is that because this is directed towards people who are closer to the beginner intermediate section of their, their video content career, you may not have a whole team of Avengers who are there on standby to help you set up and record your videos. So the user experience of the camera by a one-man crew was something that was taken into high consideration. Now, here are some of the things that were considered as a must-have for each of the cameras. Number 1, the camera has to be good for both photo and video. Now, here's the reason for that. Because you're just getting started, I wanted to leave a little bit of a wiggle room for exploration. Some might start with just wanting to do photos, or some might start with wanting to do just videos. But I find that along the way, everybody goes, let me try out this other stuff. And so I just wanted to leave a little bit of room for exploration. So it has to be able to do both photo and video content. The second thing that was considered in picking out the cameras for this video is the camera has to have some sort of flip out screen that you can use to monitor yourself and your environment while you're recording. See, it's hard enough to try to DIY anything, like record yourself. So we definitely want to make this as easy as it possibly can. I think the worst thing that would happen is for you to record or try recording and end the video and you realize that you were not recording the whole time. Or something, it was out of focus, you were not in focus, the background was in focus, or your cat walked into the video. All of that great stuff. Plus, what's the benefit of recording a video when you can't see yourself being all cute? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Moving on to the third criteria that was considered, and this one I find to be very important. We need a camera that can easily autofocus. Now, you might ask, what is autofocus? Let me explain. Basically, the autofocus is the thing in your camera that lets your camera focus on the thing of interest in the frame. In this case, because you're watching a video where I'm trying to explain something to you, the thing of interest would be the person you're listening to, me. But that may not be the case in other videos. For example, say I wanted to show you this big, beautiful camera that's sitting right here in front of me. I can put it right here with me and you can see that everything is in focus. I'm in focus, it's in focus. But I could also bring it closer to the camera and you can see that the camera now focuses on this Polaroid camera so that you can see clearly what it is that I'm showing to you. And you can see that the moment I take it away, it focuses right back on me. That's the power of autofocus, and you want a camera that can do that properly. The fourth criteria that was considered while picking a camera was that the camera needs to have an audio jack. That is, a camera that allows you to plug in an external microphone so that you can get better audio. So here's the secret about cameras. Cameras are actually built for photos and videos. The audio is kind of a plus. Microphones, on the other hand, are built for audio. So you want to have that option where you're able to plug in a microphone, maybe sometime in the future, maybe not at the beginning stages of your content creation career, but if you're able to, at the beginning, doesn't hurt, but something to capture your audio properly. For me, I do have one right above my head here. It's out of screen, you can't see it, but if I tap it, maybe you heard what I just tapped. So this audio you're hearing is not from my camera at all. And I might go a step further to argue that audio is actually very important when it comes to the video watching experience. How so, you might ask? Here's the thing, you're actually more likely to watch a video that has bad visuals but good audio than one that has bad audio and good visuals. So just something to keep in mind, your mics matter a lot. So those are some of the things that have been put into consideration in coming up with this list of top 3 cameras for your content creation. Now that we have that out the way, let's talk about the cameras in order of ascending price points. Starting in at number 1, we have the Canon SL3 camera, also known as the Canon 250D. And at the time of making this video, the camera bundled with an 18 to 55mm kit lens is currently going for about 770 Canadian on Amazon. Here are a few things I like about the camera. It's got a flip out, fully articulating screen for video monitoring like we'd mentioned earlier. It has Canon's amazing dual pixel autofocus system, and that's basically to say that it has great autofocus, so you don't have to be worried about that. It also has the microphone jack for you to be able to plug in an external microphone. And one of my favorites about this, it has the interchangeable EF mounting system. So that means you have a bunch of lenses that you can try out with this camera. A couple of the things I like about this camera is it's a bigger camera, so it has a bigger battery, and that serves for longer shooting and recording periods. And it also shoots in 4K high resolution. Now let's talk about some of the things that I might put as the cons of this camera. It's an older-ish camera, so it's a relatively bigger camera, and considering that we're living in the days of mirrorless technology, that is smaller compact cameras like your cell phone, this camera might feel a little bit bulky to some. Now, in my personal opinion, that's really not a problem. I think it's a great camera. I think it works excellently, and whether you're just getting started or this is an upgrade for you, it still works great. So if you don't mind a little bit of a bulk, I think this is a great camera choice. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have the Canon EOS M50. Now, unlike the previous camera, the SL3, this one is actually a mirrorless camera. So it is much smaller, it is lighter, it's a little more compact, and makes it slightly more travel friendly. At the time of making this video, this camera bundled with the 18 to 55 kit lens currently runs for about $850 Canadian on Amazon, so it's still under $1,000. And similar to the SL3, it also has a flip out articulating screen. It's from the same company, Canon, so it has a great autofocus system, but this time it actually has the IAF. That means that with the new mirrorless technology, it can look into the frame, for example, what you see right now, and track the eye of the subject in the photo or in the video if you're working on photo or video. I think that is great, and if you so happen to be recording yourself or taking photos, selfies of yourself, you just can't miss with this. Now, this camera also has a microphone jack for external microphone attachments so that you can use to capture audio. Of course, it also comes with interchangeable lenses, but because this is still a newer technology, Canon is still releasing lenses that would fit this camera. So your lens options are not as big as it was in the SL3, but if you're looking at beginner stuff, I'm pretty sure you can find everything that you need. The M50 also has 4K recording, but with a caveat. So here's the thing about it. Whenever you put it into 4K, it kind of punches into the scene a little bit just so that it's able to accommodate. So it's not true 4K, but if it punches into the scene, you can just move back a little bit if you're up to it. But if not, that's kind of the downside of the 4K resolution on this particular camera. But still a great camera. Now for what I consider some of the cons of the M50. So one of the things about the camera is it has a 30-minute recording limit. That means if you turn on the video for it to record, it would record for 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes, it would automatically shut itself off. That is a little bit of a bummer sometimes if you want to make long form videos or even short form, because these 5 minutes videos, sometimes it take about an hour to shoot, who knows? So that's not very cool, but it doesn't fully disqualify this camera. Another con of this camera would actually be the mirrorlessness of it. You see, this whole mirrorless thing is kind of a gift and a curse, at least at this stage where we are in the whole technological sphere. Because it's a smaller and more portable camera, so is the battery. Now that means the battery can only carry so much power. leaving you with that much shooting time. So as compared to a camera like the SL3, the M50 wouldn't last as long when shooting. So that's kind of a thing to consider when you're looking between the SL3 or the M50. The third and final camera that we're going to be looking at is the Sony ZV-E10. Again, just like the others, it's still sub 1,000, and with the 18 to 50 kit lens that it comes with, this is currently running for about $9.99 Canadian. Indeed, it is the priciest of the three, but I think it justifies itself. As compared to the Canon M50, this camera actually has true 4K. That means it does not crop like the M50. So when you're recording 4K, you would get just as much headroom and just as much space around your frame as you usually would. This camera also has a microphone and headphone jack. So of course, the microphone for you to attach an external microphone, but the headphone jack makes things better because with the headphone jack, you can monitor your audio to make sure that you're good on that throughout the video. I think that is an amazing plus, and in professional cameras, we definitely recommend that you're monitoring your audio. Unlike the M50, this one does not have a recording limit. That means whenever you hit the record button, this camera does not shut off after 30 minutes. It just keeps going until you're able to get the job done. And because it's also a mirrorless camera, it also has the eye autofocus. That means you just can't miss that shot. The camera uses the Sony F-mount interchangeable lens system. That is to say that you have a variety of lens options, and it gives you more space and more freedom to grow and explore with this camera. So I really enjoyed that about this particular camera. Although it's the most expensive of the cameras that I've mentioned, I personally think it's worth it for what you get with this camera. I think the ZV-E10 is a very great camera. And in comparison to the other two mentioned, it is the most future-proof camera. That means it gives you more room to grow with it as you get better with the whole camera craft thing. The one negative thing I can think about this camera is the battery life. And that's because, again, it's a mirrorless camera, smaller battery, there's only so much that they can do. Maybe they run for about 2 hours on, full blast, and that's about it. So you may need to get some extra batteries for any mirrorless camera that you decide to go with, if you decide to go mirrorless. After all that we've said, if I was to go for any one of these cameras, if I had an unlimited budget and I was to go for any one of them, I would have gone for the ZV-E10. But if you do have a limit on the budget, I'd say simply find out where it falls in here and pick the camera that suits your budget. All these cameras are great cameras. All these cameras will get the job done. And I think that the idea is we're looking to get started. We don't want to waste any more time waiting for the perfect time. We need to get started with this creation thing. So I would say any one of these cameras are great, and you can go for any one of them. I'm going to be leaving links to each one of these cameras in the description of this video so that you don't have to go searching for them. You can easily find them. Now, before we close out on this video, I'd like to give an honorable mention to one of the most underestimated cameras that we seem to all have, but seem to all look past. Chances are, you're watching this video on your cell phone. That right there is your first camera. Coming in at $399, it's in your hands right now, and it's ready to work. Now, I get it. You might be like, hey, that's not a real camera. My phone is not. Hold up. Most of the phones released in the past few years have been coming with really good cameras on them. So you can definitely begin creation with those. Over time, you can change that up. But because we're looking to get started creating something quality, it may not be perfect from the jump. Perfection does take some time, so I would say we get started. Instead, whatever it is that you have for your budget right now, you might go ahead and put that into lighting, put that into getting yourself a microphone, into getting a tripod. I think that these are all things that you're gonna need down the line, and you may wanna get those already if you already have a phone camera. A few pros about the phone: it's right there with you, it's always ready to go. And the con about it is you can't change the lens. And although that is true, phones these days are coming with 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras? 5 cameras? Yes, 5 cameras. So I don't really think that is a con because you have all the cameras you need with that phone. So get that phone, get what it is that you have, and go out there and start shooting. Well, I hope this video was informative enough for you to get started in your search and maybe even narrow down your options to a few good options and hopefully end up with a camera for you to get started. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section and I'll try to answer as best as possible. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see more content like this, let me know what questions you have and we would make future videos to answer them. Hope you have a wonderful day. Daniel here, signing out.